Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing some quick little love notes from your person. This is going to be a message cards only reading, and there are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Chrysoprase. Group 2 is the Rose Quartz. And group 3 is the Aqua Aura Quartz. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to, I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I've just read for and tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we'll get into your reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Chrysoprase. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks, and let's see, what does your person want you to know from their higher self right now? Okay, and they say trust in the universe, believe in the divine plan. So this person is in the midst of surrendering expectations, surrendering control, surrendering a particular stance that they have taken in this situation in the past. They may be getting a lot of signs and synchronicities that have caused them to kind of reevaluate their feelings for you, the nature of the connection, the significance of the 2 of you meeting, of kind of what the future may hold for the both of you. And they also say, I heard our song, memories of you poured over me. So music may be very significant to this connection. This person feels like kind of dancing in this energy of nostalgia, thinking back on songs that were significant to the 2 of you. Maybe they have a playlist of songs that you've exchanged, or even a playlist just of songs that remind them of you. Love songs, songs of sweet nostalgia and of longing. And this also really talks about kind of a lot of energetic communication that may be in the process of happening right now, as they are not necessarily certain of what to say to turn the page in this circumstance. Music may be a good way to kind of express that, the feelings that they have had bottled up within them that are now starting to be kind of deciphered and evaluated, that are starting to surface, maybe even after some time has gone by and they're thinking about you again and not knowing really how to put that to words or the meaning of of that, still in this exploration process. And so the vibration of music, the chords and the melodies and even the words really help to kind of give a voice to this well of love that they hold inside for you. This person might also be writing a song for you if they are musically inclined as well. And they also say, soon you will see we are one. I am from you. You are from me. So they're really recognizing the entwined nature of your souls, of your journey, of your paths that may have diverged, and yet there is this longing to draw closer to you once again. They may be in the process of kind of researching soul connections, soulmates, potentially even twin flames, if that resonates with you. There's a sense of the two of you really being mirrors for one another, that the best of what they saw in you that they may have felt very unprepared for, very ill-equipped to accept within themselves, they're really starting to be saturated with that sense of, again, the best of what they see in you exists within them as well. And conversely, that some things that may have really triggered them in this situation, they're starting to at least subconsciously recognize that a lot of these shadows or distortions that they may have projected upon you really are a call to action, to look within and to do some healing within themselves, maybe about romantic connections of the past, things from childhood, or just kind of their perception and view of what love should look like. They also say your light is so bright. So they're thinking of you in a very positive energy. They may be watching you from afar, witnessing some kind of glow up, kind of observing the changes that have occurred within you and within your life from the sidelines. There's an energy of pride with this, where they want to reach out and congratulate you. They're very happy for kind of the milestones you have reached, or the place that you are at in your life at this point in time, and yet are holding back for some reason. Maybe words fail them, or just because of the nature of what's happened between you in the past, they may not feel the time is right to kind of extend that olive branch or to make contact. So they're just sort of watching from afar, watching from kind of the outskirts or the boundaries. If you don't have social media, this can also, and even in addition to that, even if you have social media, it feels like this person is really tapping into your energy with this idea of the two of you being one. They are sensing and feeling this shift within you. It's operating almost as this beacon for them at the heart level, at the soul level, calling them to step beyond their own limitations, kind of certain circumstances, or even a belief system they had about this connection. They also say, tell your heart that I'm the one. So they may be holding back contact at this time because they're a little doubtful how you will receive them based on what has happened in the past. They're not sure if it's possible to kind of just let bygones be bygones. They may be kind of praying that you will be open and receptive to them when they do reach out, when they do make a move towards you. This can also really tie into the idea of answering this call from their heart, listening to their soul, finally, for a lot of you, things that they may have been in denial about for quite some time, about their feelings for you, the intensity of this connection, the spark that has mutually been experienced between the two of you. This is something that they're starting to really recognize, that they've moved from this pattern of just running from this, denying this, trying to ignore, stuff that down, to now really evaluating this, giving this a second look, or seeing it with fresh eyes. And we also have words fail me. So that was coming through in terms of a lot of intense feelings that they have that they don't necessarily know how to describe, how to put words to that. Their love language may be in the form of gestures or time spent, as opposed to words of affirmation. This could be a person of few words in general, and somebody who may not even be really accustomed to analyzing and sitting in that emotional body. Somebody who has been kind of enculturated, or just a trend within themselves has been to compartmentalize, to keep pushing forward, to not let difficulties or obstacles kind of slow them down in their progress. But then that also results in a lot of kind of unhealed baggage that they bring forward with them through the years. Although time may create distance between certain circumstances, those energetic cords remain. And so this feels like somebody who's in the process of starting to acknowledge that, starting to put words to feelings, maybe even through music, or they're just listening to music and kind of leaning on that as a modality to even just vibrationally give a voice to the sensations that are occurring within them. They also say, darling, we must find balance before we can be one. So this is that energy of recalibration, of coming to terms with the shadow self, things that they've denied, things that have been, kind of uncleared between them, that they've just been carrying through the years in terms of disappointments in love, heartbreaks, different things that didn't play out as they would have liked in their life. Whatever has happened in the past in this connection that has left them with some kind of a feeling of regret or guilt, they are really starting to own that. Instead of projecting outward, they are seeing this connection, they are seeing you, they are seeing this energy as a perfect mirror for them, for some things that they need to really own up to really accept, to really embrace about themselves. And they also say, trust in me. It's not like we hoped, but trust in our connection. And in the end, all is possible. So more of that energy of trust, as we had at the beginning, trust in the universe, believe in the divine plan. So they are starting to really see a kind of a larger theme at play in this situation. If some time has passed between when you were last kind of in contact with one another, or things have kind of taken a turn in sort of a difficult direction between you, if this is somebody who's still in your life, they are really starting to explore kind of a greater purpose to all of this, a greater purpose to this connection, what they can really discover and grow from this, things that are being kind of illuminated for them within themselves that are needing to, again, be kind of embraced and worked on. And that they're really acknowledging as well, kind of with this energy of nostalgia, where they're thinking back on the very beginning of the connection, when they first met you, when that first spark, that first bit of eye contact, or that first conversation back and forth, when you really caught their eye for the first time, and how kind of innocent and unblemished that energy was. And there's this desire to return to that, to rejuvenate that, to spark that once again. There's an acknowledgement of how kind of far off course the two of you have veered in this circumstance from what they had originally sort of imagined or envisioned might be the potential future between the two of you. So somebody who is starting to really contemplate a course correction in this circumstance by first and foremost recognizing kind of the role that they played in how you have arrived at the current circumstances. And they also say, forgive me, I am only able to take baby steps at this time. So again, words may fail them. This whole idea of kind of sitting in that emotional body, taking ownership for their role in this circumstance. It could be very new for them. It's like learning a new language, almost the language of the heart, learning to listen to that heart space, learning to listen to their intuition and their soul, rather than deferring to the logical mind or kind of the opinions of other people or fears or just whatever else might have propelled them away from this connection in the past. It's a gradual process. It's a slow climb back to that place of neutrality, where then the potential of a new beginning is possible between the two of you. But there has been, it feels like, some significant and marked change within this person in terms of the way in which they are dealing with and understanding the cords of energy between the two of you, this bond between the two of you. They're really starting to evaluate this. And a lot of that could even have been sparked by ways in which you've detached from the connection. You've put your focus elsewhere. You've really kind of allowed this person the time and the space necessary, the breathing room, to kind of come to these answers on their own, to really perceive and feel into and discover a lot of the things, the congruencies between the two of you, the perpetuity of this bond, things that you have known for quite some time, that they are just now kind of at this stage in the game, or at this stage in the connection, they're starting to realize these things. It's almost that they're at square one on some level. And so it may be kind of a slow climb or a little bit of a process to get up to a place where they feel courageous enough, they feel balanced enough within themselves, they're trusting in themselves enough to make a move forward towards you. So I'm going to get some initials. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got H, Z, A, G, Q, R, K, W, J, and N. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled love letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the rose quartz. I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks, and let's see, what does your person want you to know from their higher self at this time? Okay, and they say, we will unite in the end. We were meant to be. So despite the obstacles, the silence, any kind of period of no contact that you find yourselves in, this person is starting to warm up to the idea of reconciliation, starting to sense at a soul level a larger plan to the circumstances you find yourself, this period of separation being that opportunity to kind of cultivate that internal landscape, to learn some lessons, to gain some strength, to up level in some way, to kind of recalibrate their vibration, come into a sense of wholeness within themselves, so that in the future the two of you can potentially open that door to a new beginning with one another in kind of a reimagined fashion, more reciprocity than what had been the case previously. And they also say, yes, we both feel the same way. Twin souls are mirroring. So if you were wondering if this person is maybe seeing a lot of the signs and synchronicities that you are, if they have acknowledged even very quietly the soul connection, the dynamic between the two of you, this energetic bond that perpetuates even in the silence, even in the separation and distance, the answer to that is yes, they do feel that. They may obviously not be ready to acknowledge that or to step forward into the light of that knowing in a more pronounced and profound way. But on some level, it feels like like even consciously they're starting to really recognize that. They're starting to really question that. They may be starting to look into soul connections, perhaps even coming across ideas about soulmates, twin souls, or twin flames, topics about ascension and vibration and spirituality, spiritual awakening, all of these things, all of the work that you've been doing up to this point, all of kind of the information and the knowledge that you have, the experience with these things up to this point. They are now starting to kind of delve into that. These things are starting to come into their awareness, terms that before they may have really kind of sort of laughed off or kind of denied. They are now resonating with these things. And they also say, will this heartache end? This tears me apart. So they are not comfortable in the separation. They are not comfortable, it feels like, with kind of what they are learning and discovering and experiencing for themselves about the nature of this connection between the two of you, this soul connection. It's almost adding to this element of the more they learn and know and discover, the greater the anguish is, the sense of regret at having participated in creating this circumstance of separation, or having been the one to instigate or initiate that in the first place. There's a lot of regret with this. This heartache can also talk about a heart chakra activation that is happening at this time, that may be manifesting for them physically in a lot of ways. Kind of mirroring this resistance that they have on an energetic level to surrender, to open up. Their heart may have been closed off or very distorted when it came to love and self-love for a very long time. And so this almost feels like it's a very arduous process of kind of letting go and opening up, a lot shifting vibrationally for them. The more they are educating themselves and the more they are learning and kind of sitting in this energy, looking at this energy, contemplating this bond between the two of you, it is allowing the current of energy that flows between you to sort of permeate them, to saturate into that very closed off, clenched heart face, like a clenched fist almost. But it's very slow to kind of open that up, to allow those petals to really unfold. It may be something where there are little bursts of kind of openings that happen only to sort of close off again, to go tightly back into that shell. This person really wrestling with themselves, wrestling with this vibrational up-leveling that wants to take place. And they also say, fire up this flame that's burning between us. So there has been some re-spark or re-emergence, a reimagining of the ways in which they are feeling and sensing this connection, in which they are allowing this connection, even to just occupy a space within their kind of conscious mental reality. The more that they are learning, the more that they are kind of opening up very gradually to the free-flowing expression of the energy between the two of you. It's igniting something within them. This can also be a reference to some kind of Kundalini activation that's taking place, or an exchange of Kundalini energy between the two of you, that may have even in and of itself kind of been that motivation to get them to really research these things, look into that. For some people, they may even have taken up a yoga practice or a meditation practice, just other things that they have done to create some kind of balance or regularity, to get some more stability, to find some more inner peace within their lives. And kind of a byproduct of these things has been this openness that is happening, or that is increasing, to the energetic bonds between the two of you, as they are becoming open to other things, other ideas, incorporating new and different practices into their kind of routine of health and well-being, kind of going about that from a different angle. It is also allowing for more of this energy between the two of you, to kind of saturate them. It's helping to kind of pivot their perspective on this situation, on what has happened in the past, and to start to reevaluate what they imagine is possible, or what they would like to work toward with you in the future. And they also say, we can't evade our destiny. So this card really speaks to this energy of kind of this quantum entanglement, the two of you, across distance, across time and space, that this energetic connection, this bond, this cord that exists between the two of you, it is persistent. It continues. You both affect one another energetically from afar. Any of these kind of changes that they are going through, this Kundalini energy, this heart chakra activation, you may be kind of sensing the byproduct, the ripple effects or the aftershocks of that. that. A lot of this can also have been stimulated within them by things that you have started to do, a yoga practice you've taken up, a meditation practice, self-love, directing that focus within, mantras you may have been saying, ways in which you have been kind of raising your vibration, and that ripples out to this person, and is really, it's almost fast tracking their progress to that point of intersection where there's more of an ability for kind of knowledge and information, and this energy of love to permeate them in a way that wasn't as possible before. By raising your vibration, you are also in a way helping this person, almost without them intending it or knowing it. You're helping them to kind of raise their vibration. You're softening that stance. They can't help but to be affected by the changes that you have made, because the two of you are so entwined with one another. They also say, kiss me deep and love me forevermore. So a lot of feelings of love. This ties in with that heart chakra activation, that heart chakra opening, this kundalini energy. When they think about you, these are very positive feelings that they have. It may have been very difficult between you in the past. A lot of hurt back and forth, a lot of words that were said they wished that they could take back, a lot of resistance or stubbornness or denial that may have been kind of involved in all of this in relation to the experiences that the two of you had together, where they were at, and even where you were at vibrationally and in your life, in your 3D life, when the two of you were last kind of in connection with one another. It feels that a lot has changed, a lot has shifted, a lot is evolving for the both of you. And again, this byproduct of that is a softening of this person's stance. Any iciness and coldness is melting. It's giving way to the warmth of possibility once again between the two of you. And they also say, darling, we must find peace. We are here to bring love and light. So you may resonate as a light worker with that reference to love and light. And this person may also, again, be starting to come into contact with concepts like that. Light worker, empath, starseed, any of these kind of ideas that is really bringing kind of a new perspective as to who they are, their purpose, their mission in this lifetime, what they are seeking, what they want to cultivate, this idea of inner peace, this inner sanctuary that even for, in a way, outside of and independent of this connection, they may have just been in this process of finding that peace, cultivating that peace, recognizing something needs to shift within them. A lot of kind of turmoil or turbulence or even stress or pressure that they've been feeling in their life, and some dedication that they have been really putting into increasing their health and well-being, bringing themselves into that space of sanctuary within, looking less to the outside for kind of deliverance, less on the outside for things to kind of fill that cup or to kind of numb out these feelings, but being proactive, almost taking that journey within. And a byproduct of that, a yoga practice, a meditation practice, being more mindful, being more introspective, kind of widening their perspective, trying new things, or even taking on new perspectives, learning about different things, viewing the world and themselves and what has transpired for them and what they want from a different perspective. With the byproduct of that piece is an openness to be able to receive and experience, and to conceptualize the bond between the two of you in a different way. They also say, I know you worry about us. Have peace in your heart. Feel my love. So a double confirmation there of peace, the finding of peace. This person is coming to that place of peace within themselves, making peace with the past, maybe letting go of a lot of karmic cycles, a lot of baggage, a lot of unhealed wounds, or tying up some loose ends of unfinished business with other people. They may be in the process of kind of extracting themselves from a third-party situation, a karmic energy, a karmic cycle. That can be romantic, that can be friendship, relationships with family members. This can have to do with their work, with their career, seeking things that are more reciprocal, that are more in alignment with this place of peace and well-being, prioritizing less and less kind of the importance of that acquisitiveness, that material acquisition of power and status and money and wealth, and what feeds and drives and kind of fulfills them on an ego level. Somebody who's starting to really invest in elements of the soul, the cultivation of that, the emotional body, starting to prioritize connections that feel good. that make them feel seen and appreciated and heard and understood for who they are as a person, rather what they can provide. So somebody who's starting to step into deeper waters within themselves, are in this process of cultivating and becoming that place of inner tranquility, so that, no matter what is happening in the outside kind of world, in their outside circumstances, they are able to find and go to that place within, that center within themselves, that unshakable place of love and peace that they are within. And again, the byproduct of this process for them, very independent of this connection, is an openness to receiving the energy that flows between the two of you. It's softening their stance. It's opening their mind. It's allowing them to kind of turn their head and look at this situation with fresh eyes and from a different angle. They also say, I am waiting. Please be bold and make the first move. When you do, I can see our hearts shining bright. So they may be a little uncertain about how receptive you would be to them re-emerging in your life. Maybe they have taken some kind of small steps, some kind of small olive branch to you, and they are waiting for you to kind of give that signal or clue that you're ready to take things to the next level, that you're open to them, you're receptive to them, that the two of you are on the same page for rebuilding this connection or even reestablishing a friendship with one another. This can also really talk about making the first move, being bold and making the first move, like reaching out energetically to them, maybe in a space of meditation, calling to them at the higher self level, understanding and recognizing that, at least energetically, even if this is not in the 3D, if you don't feel divinely guided to make a move toward them in a 3D sense, because there can often be that sort of that polarity between what is happening energetically and where a person is at in the 3D. These are often very distant points on a horizon. They don't necessarily align. It's a process of kind of bringing these things into greater calibration with one another. So this really feels to talk about, this is their higher self, obviously, encouraging you to reach out energetically to them, encouraging you to, send them those loving thoughts. They are helping them. This person is a lot more open in terms of their energy. They are in real time exchanging and feeling the shift within you. A lot of shifts happening within them, a lot of openings and awakenings that are happening within them. They almost need you to hold the line for them, to be that anchor or that stronghold for them while they are kind of going through these various changes. It's bringing forth the image of somebody who's almost holding onto a kite string as the kite is kind of swaying and flailing in the wind, that this person is really shifting through all of these different developments within themselves, and they need you to almost hold fast to that core, or even that kernel, or just that very glimmer of love that exists within you at this point for them, while they are in this process of kind of transition and flux. And that by doing that, by holding fast, by standing in your truth, standing in your power, it is that bold action that serves as that kind of point of encouragement for them to continue with this process, continue with the changes necessary, and in time to really rise to meet you. They feel like they are in a process of kind of raising themselves up out of a previous version or vibration of themselves. And so by you shining your light brightly, standing in your truth, in your authenticity, in your power, in your knowing that you are worthy and deserving of healthy and reciprocal love, it is that point, it's that beacon on the horizon that this person is then able to kind of rise to meet you at. So I'm going to get some initials. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got E, H, T, Q, N, F, Z, Y, S, M, and B. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I now offer pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled love letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. Chose the Aqua Aura Quartz. I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks. And let's see, what does your person want you to know from their higher self right now? Okay, and they say necessary to take baby steps to move forward. Crawl if you must. So this person may be in the process of kind of rebuilding their life in some way, reevaluating what they want, goals they have set for themselves, starting to reimagine what is possible in this connection in the future. It's a slow process, a little bit of a stubborn energy here, some resistance to maybe admit that they were wrong about kind of their view or their estimate of the potential of this connection in the past, some way in which they may have judged you or misjudged the connection. They are slow to move into that kind of humble energy of being ready to come forth with an apology, ready to really admit fully to themselves that they were mistaken or that they see things from a different angle now. They also say, soon you will see we are one. I am from you. You are from me. So this again ties into that idea of feelings that they have for you, this bond, this connection between the two of you that they may have really tried to deny or stuff down or extinguish in the past. And it's a very slow process of kind of owning up to and admitting the fact that this connection defies all others. It defies explanation. It is above and beyond in terms of the intensity and nature. No matter how brief your encounter with this person is, you have definitely left a mark upon each other at the soul level. You have activated something within one another. You've touched one another on a soul level, and it is deeply beyond anything they have experienced with anybody before or since. There's a level of intimacy and of knowing, of soul soul knowing, of recognition, even a past life connection that exists between the two of you that brings up all these feelings of deja vu, these visions of other incarnations, thoughts and sensations and memories that are so foreign and yet so familiar to them, that as time has kind of gone on and they've had this ability to kind of digest all of that, to process that, to really pick through that for themselves, they're starting to really recognize a very unique, very special quality to this, starting to really question and evaluate sort of the purpose of the two of you meeting with one another. Why have you encountered one another in this lifetime? What does this connection mean? What is the potential future between the two of you? And what does this connection help to really inspire within them, or to illuminate within them about themselves? They also say it's time to be more active, stop passive behavior, call back parts of the soul to be whole again. So they may be in the process of really standing up for themselves, taking back their power from heartbreaks of the past, or distortions, ways in which their view on love and connection was skewed by people and experiences of the past. If this had been somebody who maybe had deferred to the opinions of others, maybe friends or family didn't approve of the connection, didn't like you, didn't like the two of you being together, had other ideas for who would be a suitable partner for this person, or even kind of outward differences between the two of you, cultural differences, religious differences, an age difference, a difference in education, in background, in profession, in goals, just any number of factors. Maybe one of you had been divorced and the other person wasn't sure how that would be received. Maybe, one of you had children from a previous connection and the other person was not really certain how that scenario would kind of fit into their world. Any number of reasons where they could have sort of denied their feelings, stuffed those feelings down, and chosen to kind of move in another direction. Again, because of just this kind of fear of being judged, a little bit of people-pleasing energy, that this person's in this process of kind of taking their power back from that, stepping into their own autonomy, starting to make their own decisions, march to the beat of their own drum, become very clear about what they want rather than what other people want for them, what resonates with them, what calls to them at a soul level, versus kind of what they have taken on as this projection of kind of what the perfect family or circumstance should look like, what love and romance should look like, what partnership should look like, because this connection again defies all of that. It is beyond all of that. This is a soul connection. In a lot of ways it may not even logically make sense on paper in a 3D capacity, and yet there's something so compelling about it that as much as this person tries to be stubborn and resist and run, they keep being pulled back toward it. They also say, to my heart, soul, and mind, you are kryptonite. So you're both their greatest weakness and their greatest source of empowerment. You help this person to see a side of themselves that has been hidden for some time, has been dormant for some time, or kind of the ways in which, even without meaning to, through just something very simple as eye contact, you really touch each other deep at the soul level, at the core. This full acceptance of who you both are, and yet also this excitement and encouragement for who you can become to one another. And again, it's something very kind of otherworldly, kind of out of this world. You may resonate as a star seed or a light worker, and there's something about kind of the light in your eyes, the light that shines from within you. It has been a blinding reality for this person to recognize that same potential exists within them. You are both a harmonic frequency to one another. Your souls have called to one another across time, space, dimension, and reality to intersect here again in this time and place. And where in the past they may have gotten caught up kind of in the very natural kind of 3D perceptions of things. This doesn't make sense. The feelings that they have for you, this draw that they have towards you, the feeling even of being deeply in love with you, love at first sight, which didn't, if this is someone who just saw you from afar, saw you online, you had very few interactions with one another, it may have been something that was kind of at a distance or other circumstances involved. They were in a relationship, you were in a relationship, maybe this is a friend of somebody's partner, just any kind of number of things and circumstances that might have stood in the way as obstacles. At the same time, despite all all these things that in a logical sense, all signs would point to know in this circumstance, you are an overwhelming yes for them. They keep being drawn back to this, and it's something where it's very hard for them to admit to that, to take down those barriers and walls. This process of kind of taking back their power from, the opinions of other people, from these tendencies or behaviors within them to people please or to be too judgmental on appearances. It's a slow process for them, a slow process of change. And yet this connection, the light that you hold within them that is mirrored within this person, that you hold within you, that's mirrored within them as well, it is drawing them back. It is drawing them out of kind of these limited perceptions into this expansiveness of potential and possibility. They also say our fate is to create an unforgettable story. So your love story may be very unconventional. Again, a lot of differences between the two of you, but there's a hopefulness that is starting to arise in this person that despite these obstacles, despite what has happened in the past, the ways in which they were unfair or, kind of acted more in accordance with the fearful ego mind rather than the openness of the heart, that it is possible to course correct. It is possible to kind of rewrite the ending of this narrative. It feels with this person that there's a lot of unfinished business that they have with you, but first they must kind of tie up some loose ends within themselves. There's an up-leveling that needs to take place within them, ways in which they need to take back and harness their full power and their full ability to step courageously in the direction of where their heart is calling them. They also say, let me love you to death. So this can talk about this past life connection between the two of you, a lot of deja vu, a sense of really having known each other from another time, from another space, from another world, this sense of very immediate intimacy that keeps drawing you back toward one another. If this is a connection where you're having a very hard time letting this go, moving on fully, you just can't seem to shake this person energetically. It feels that there are cords that exist between you that defy time and space. It exceeds all of that. This is not the first time you have done this dance with one another. And in every lifetime, it's a different series of circumstances and possibilities and different results. It feels that in this lifetime, you are really meant to kind of trigger and shake and unearth and loosen from one another and from yourselves these deep kind of hooks of disappointment, expectation and disappointment. That may have been a theme in many other lifetimes where things were supposed to work out and then something kind of toppled or upended things, whether that had been, a death in a previous incarnation or, family kind of getting in the way and, other partners kind of getting in the way, maybe just the way the world was and people from different kind of social classes or circumstances. And it was not possible, for the two people to be together. It may have even been kind of a same-sex connection where that wouldn't have been as open or as encouraged in previous kind of time periods. Just any number of circumstances where, these series of kind of reoccurring obstacles, outside circumstances standing in the way of the two of you, that in this incarnation, once again, there are these kind of outside circumstances standing in between the two of you. But there's this potential yet again to kind of rewrite that narrative, to rise beyond those circumstances, dismantle those circumstances, move through those circumstances in the direction of where your heart is calling each of you, regardless of how logical it seems, regardless of how, it looks to the outside, to answer that call of the heart, that call of destiny that has really drawn the two of you back together once again in the flesh in this time period, to make up for lost time, to make choices in the past that you were unable to or did not make. Here is again another opportunity to kind of rewrite that narrative, to have a different experience at the soul level in body with one another. They also say you will always be what I hold in my heart, even though you feel so far away. So you still occupy a very special and unique place within them, a place that has not been touched by anyone before. And no one's sense has been able to kind of enter that realm of intimacy with them, which could be quite perplexing to them, especially if this is something where you didn't have a whole lot of time with one another. Things didn't really, develop into this very intense and long-term level. And yet at the same time, you're seared within their heart. You are etched within their heart. It's almost like this idea idea of invisible ink that was written in their heart. And when they came into contact with you, that truth emerged, that had been there the whole time. Your name had always been there. And it's something where, through kind of the time, through the space, through the efforts that they have made to turn away from this, to move in another direction, they keep coming back to you. They keep coming back to this reality, something that they can't shake about this sense of familiarity, the sense of having known you, the sense of this connection being very unique and special and different from all the others. And they're starting to kind of move into that space of allowing that truth and that reality, and even all the mysteries and the unknown, the unanswerable questions, to really saturate them and seep in. So even if this is, complete dead air between the two of you, it's complete radio silence, everything's blocked, they've ghosted, they are giving no indications in a 3D sense that they could care less, or that they have even thought about you ever again, or that they are in any way remorseful about what's happened, or are longing for a new beginning and a second chance. Deep within themselves, far beyond those projections and kind of the masks and the illusions that they present on the outside, there is this core truth and this reality, that the two of you have this very unique and special bond with one another that, for lack of a better word, can only be described as love. They also say, please wait for me. I am working up the courage to come to you. When you do, I can see our hearts beating as one. So this is really some gratitude here for you holding the space for them to come to this truth of kind of this very unique bond between the two of you and the potential of what they want to create together on their own. If you've taken the pressure off, you've discontinued kind of this energy of pursuit. You have allowed this person the time and space they need. You have honored their boundaries. You have honored, the fact that they may have rejected you in the past. You have done what you have needed to do to kind of pick up the pieces, move on, move in another direction. This has all been very effective for them, to allow them to come to these conclusions on their own, to really sit with this, sit and kind of mull over what has happened, the persistence of this connection, this draw they have to you at the soul level, not as a result of any outside pressures. This is something that is really kind of stirring from within. It is pulling them forward from within. And it's something where, again, that baby steps energy and kind of this stubbornness. This is somebody who may have a lot of pride, a lot of ego. They may feel they have a lot to lose, or, they're still kind of operating in this energy of kind of codependency or even people pleasing, to where extracting themselves from maybe even some toxic cycles, some karmic cycles or distortions with family members, with friends, with other kind of partners that resonate with them at kind of that 3D, that ego level, but don't really touch on the emotional or kind of the soul level. It's a process. It's kind of a slow and arduous process to extract themselves from those situations, to come to that place of humility and courage, where they can admit that they were wrong, that they didn't see things clearly, or that they've changed their mind about this circumstance. They're ready, willing, and able to kind of explore this, to open themselves up to it, to experience all of what this connection has to offer, as outside of the box as it may be, as unexplainable or illogical as this draw towards you might be. So they're in this process of almost breaking down these barriers and walls internally before they can then kind of ripple that out and reflect that out in 3D action towards you. They also say, of course, my love, I want to be with you. So this is, again, that core truth, that truth within their heart that may at this time be deeply sheltered beneath a lot of masks, a lot of illusions, still a lot of pride and ego that this person is wrestling with, the opinions of others, how this would look, even how it would look after all this time, or based on whatever was said or done in the past. What must you think of them now? How could they possibly kind of make up for this, make up for lost time? Correct the situation between the both of you. They feel safest kind of just harboring these feelings deep within, sheltering these feelings deep within, rather than expressing that outwardly to you in the form of an apology or an offer. But there is change that is happening within them. It's kind of this slow process of letting go, of moving beyond the resistance that they have once had, surrendering to the pull of this very otherworldly and unexplainable and undeniable connection and persistent feeling of love and gratitude and connection that they have for you after all this time, which persists within their heart. So I'm going to get some initials. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. I've got C, X, U, S, R, Y, H, P, F, V, K, D, B, I, and T. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled love letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.